So Aidan.
Suzanne.
Do you know what you should do?
Yeah, do you know what you should do?
Well, we were told not to come home for Christmas, but we came home anyway, didn't we?
You know what you should do? You should not come home for Christmas. It's too dangerous.
I'd like to just say a big fuck you, Leo. I came home anyway.
I came home because of you, Leo. Naughty boy, telling us what to do, you big dominatrix. You came back from England, London, I believe, named after Lou, Irish mythology. Know your history.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Kilcullen's dad, not history, mythology.
Oh, okay, very interesting. Yeah, I came home, so what date was it? I think it was the 21st? No, the 20th.
Just before the eve of the solstice.
The eve of the solstice.
The beginning of the age of Aquarius.
Yeah, so Ireland decided that they'd ban all flights coming into Ireland from the UK.
And you had your flight booked.
I had my flight booked with Ryanair, and I decided...
How embarrassing. Edit. Aer Lingus. Yeah, I had my flight booked with Aer Lingus.
I didn't, it was Ryanair. The flight, so I kind of went into a panic. My family were on to me, did the big thing. I just booked a flight to Belfast. I've never been so grateful for the occupation of Ireland by Great Britain.
Wow, that's an interesting start. Okay, so let me get this straight. They changed the rules. They told you that you were not allowed to fly, and instead of you going, okay, well, the government must be right. I should do what I'm told and protect the elderly people and all of the young people who die of COVID by staying at home in London on my own and stay there for the safety of mankind. But you didn't do that. You decided to go around the system, go to Belfast, and then drive from Belfast, risking everybody's lives.
Whose life was I risking? I'm freaking immune to COVID.
Mine.
Aidan, I'm immune to COVID and people can't accept
You're
this.
immune, but I'm not.
Yeah, but if I'm immune, I can't carry a disease.
I'd say you could carry it in a number of places. You could be touching it. You could be touching the COVID.
Surface transmission's not a thing
anyway.
anyway.
You could have had COVID on your dirty finger.
I could have also had herpes as well, but hey ho.
Could have. So you got the flight. So you got to Belfast, and how did you work out how to find a way around the system?
Because I knew that they weren't going to close the flights into Belfast, because that might annoy the IRA or something. I knew they weren't going to close Northern Ireland. So I just booked myself an EasyJet flight for the following day, that evening. I was like, well, if my Ryanair flight goes, it's fine, or else I cancel the EasyJet one and I'll just rent a car from Northern Ireland and drive down.
And that's what you did, you rented a car?
I rented a car.
You rented a car and then you drove your car, left it at the airport, and somebody collected you? No,
so I got on the plane, I went to the airport, wore the mask, because actually I was so afraid of getting home that I just couldn't deal with anything. No, I wore the mask at half-mast. And there's no one in the airport anyway.
Let your nose be free. Liberate the nose.
Yeah, I freed my nose. I got on my EasyJet flight, sat in it, it was fine. Like, it wasn't even full. I had the whole front row to myself.
It wouldn't be full because people were respecting the regulations.
Well, it was 95% full.
Right.
Anyway,
5% of people gave a shit about Leo Varadkar.
Well, no, because there were people who lived in Northern Ireland. I didn't really see anyone else doing what I was doing, which surprised me. But I did get some people messaging me afterwards asking me how I did it because they were going to do it too. So I'm glad I was a pioneer for that.
Inspiration to mankind.
Yeah, Instagram
or
influencer
womankind.
Of how to get home to Ireland for Christmas. But anyway,
How was the flight?
Well, I was sitting on the flight and the flight was alright. I thought the EasyJet, what are they called? Trolley dollies. Were quite
I believe
nice.
They're called air hostesses or
cabin
air
crew. The cabin crew. So I'm watching this bloke and his girlfriend kind of opposite me, and they're like having a can of Heineken, they're having a whiskey, drinking the whole way through the hour-long flight with their masks down, which is kind of the logical thing to do. So then we go into land, and the cabin crew women are like sitting in their landing seats, and the guy, I think he was finishing off his drink, so he hadn't got his mask up, and she screamed at him. I can't do a Northern Ireland accent when I try to do it.
Go on, do it, yeah. Just sound really angry.
Pull up your is that it? Pull up your mask.
Put up your mask.
Alright, and I'm going... And it was frightening, like she screamed at it, and I went, she says, I wonder if her dad was in the rat, and like that's where she got him, like, pull down your balaclava, get in there.
Pull up your mask and eat your dinner.
Pull up your mask and eat your dinner. You can't eat your dinner with a mask on, but anyway, yeah, it really surprised me, because they were so nice.
You can't with the balaclava. See, the IRA were ahead of their time. When they wore masks, they had a hole so they could eat. They were like way ahead of COVID.
Oh yeah, so do you think they knew something?
They were planning ahead. Maybe they invented COVID. flu. Sorry, I always get confused.
Okay, who knows? So where's you got flu about?
Come here. On the plane,
Mm.
I was on the plane from Amsterdam, and when I was coming from Amsterdam, I didn't have to wear a mask. On the plane, I did, but then everybody took it off because the food came straight away. Like as soon as we were up, out came a lovely little sandwich and a water and a biscuit, and so you can't obviously wear the mask when you eat. So I took the mask off, and we were going down, descending before I knew it, and as we were descending, the air host cabin crew, I believe they're called, he said, "Sorry, could you put your mask on?" And I go, "I'm just finishing my food." And he goes, "If you could just," and I go, "But I won't be able to." And he goes, "Oh, just to make people feel," and I go, "Do you want me to put it on my chin while I eat?" And he goes, "Yeah, just to make people feel safe." And I go, "Okay." I put the mask on my chin and finished my sandwich.
So you went down on a sandwich?
Yeah, well, it's the only, well, I asked for consent and the sandwich said nothing. And silence is acquiescence in a court of law. Now, I know nowadays you're expected for someone to say yes, but the sandwich couldn't speak, so I got...
What sort of sandwich was it?
It was a cheese sandwich. It was a
It wasn't a ham sandwich.
It wasn't a ham sandwich. Can I go down on you? No, I didn't. I just ate it.
Okay, you ate it. Alright, cool. So, you made it home?
I made it home. Everything was fine for me. Yeah, I was home.
Yeah. So I drove from Belfast in a really shitty rental car that had no power in it, and it was kind of scary. Like, you know, for some reason sat nav brought me through some, like, I don't know, quite harrowing kind of country roads. You know, you're a bit unfamiliar, you've no power, you're going 40 miles an hour.
The M1. Does it not go Belfast?
Well, I thought that, but the sat nav just brought me this weird way. So, like,
you're going through
like
Turn O'Donnell or something.
I don't know the north because we
never
never went when we were younger because of the IRA and the troubles. So anyway, like, you're doing 40 miles an hour in a 40 mile an hour zone and you've cars up your hole. So anyway, I get home. You know, I'm tired. It's been like a fucking harrowing 2 days of wondering when you get home for Christmas or whatever. And my dad had waited up for me, so I came in and, you know, I wanted a hug off someone. And I went to give him a hug, and it was nearly 1 a.m, he just completely backed off me. And it was, do you know what? I found it really, really upsetting.
But is this like COVID related, or is this just years of him, you know, not wanting to be?
Like, I'm actually getting upset talking about this now.
You're not really a hugger.
I am a hugger. You just want me to hug you now, and I'm not hugging you.
I'm just trying to smell your hair.
Stop smelling my hair. I actually got the garlic girl on to hear me. No, what? The COVID test is smelling my hair.
These women should allow men smell their hair now as a COVID test.
No means no. Anyway, we're back.
According to my sandwich.
We're back to my sad story about me coming home and my dad giving me a hug. And like, he backed off, and I was like, what? He's like, oh, I'm nearly set. I was like, what the hell? My dad picked me up like months ago from the airport when I was telling him not to, when I, you know, didn't know things. And he's just been fucking, feared out of it by the programming of the fucking media. And it just made me so sad to see this. Like, and he was like, oh, I'll give you a hug tomorrow when you do a negative test. Like, my family made me do a test to come home.
Test for a hug or a test? Oh, if you come home, you have to test.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that one too, yeah.
Fucking load of shite.
I didn't do it. They told me I could have Christmas dinner with them if I tested, and I thought about it. And I decided it didn't make any sense because it was after 5 days. It's quarantined for 14 days, but you can skip it if you get a test, but you can also skip it if you want to. Yeah. So after 5 days, there's no point after 5 days if you have no symptoms. What's the point?
Well, the point is, Aidan, you make them feel better out of their bullshit fear.
Making somebody feel better is a nice thing. Giving someone hope it's a nice idea, but it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change any fact. There's no scientific data to show that this is in fact a good thing. In fact, you could twist it the other way, because the more tests you do, they know there's a huge amount of false positives. So the more tests you do, they increase the amount of cases. The more cases there are, the more fear and hysteria there is. The more fear and hysteria, the more the media and the government are backing this entire thing, which means more people end up losing their jobs, losing everything they have, and dying. So by not getting a test, I saved at least 3 lives.
But that was my point about not doing a test. I was like, I'm fucking immune to this. The French health authorities, oh, but this new mutant strain. I was like, yeah. And when I was in France, but when I was in France, this is the strain that everyone fucking got, because it was really contagious. And I was like, yeah, and I was fucking immune to that. Like,
yeah, but you were snogging loads of French dudes. You're bound to catch something.
I wish I had.
You know what the French are like.
I don't know what the French are like, because I wasn't snogging any French people. But that was my point. That like, so I said they all had to get tested because then they could drive it up as
You
well.
made your family get tested just because they made you get tested.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Well, why should I have to do it? I had to get a fucking test. I either got a cold sore under my nose from the stress of wearing that fucking mask. I know. I hope nobody can see it.
That's probably one of those French guys you weren't snogging.
That was in October. That would have gone by now. So it was either from that fucking thing that they shovel up your nose, the stress of that, or
the stress
of having to wear
having something penetrated inside your nose, or is it what? What are you
I
laughing
was
at?
a nasal virgin until this year.
It was our last. Orifice that held on to with a tiny little sliver of virginity, and now it has.
I have put those Q-tips in my ears before, so that wouldn't be. I don't have a virgin ear. So yeah, I was made do that test, which I told them was bullshit. And they were like, "What are your symptoms?" I was like, "I don't have any symptoms. Just be made do this by my family." And they're charging €50 a pop in this fucking car park.
Cheap. 99 was the one.
Well, this was the rapid antigen test that gave your results in 15 minutes.
Great,
yeah.
much better.
I mean, buy into the bullshit, but if it stops your fear for €50, you should just do it.
Well.
Yeah. So
done. You did it.
I did it.
You found you're happy. Did they keep their side of the bargain?
No. Some of them did, and some of them didn't. I won't name names. I won't name and shame people here because I'm not about that. But yeah, so I was driving around in my Nordy Reg car around Dublin on the 22nd of December, which I was getting a lot of evil looks. I went into a petrol station to fill it up, and I was dying to go to the loo, and this woman would not let me go to the loo. She's like, "You can't go to the loo because of COVID." I'm like, "But I really, really need to go." And she was like, "No." And I decided...
No, because she didn't feel safe. If you were a customer, would you have been allowed to go?
I was a customer, I just put petrol in the car.
So she has a toilet and she's refusing you after you requesting could you use the bathroom.
Yeah.
I don't even know if she has the rights to do that. I don't know.
I don't know, but anyway, I got the car to Dublin Airport, dropped it all. Well, I tried to go into use the loo. No, I tried to go into use the loo in Dublin Airport. And as I went to go in, the guy was like, "You can't come in unless you've got a mask." I was like, "I'm exempt from masks." He said, "Where's your note?" And I said, "I don't need a note. I am exempt from wearing a mask." And he's like, "But you can't come in. You have to go." And I was like, "Mate, I'm actually going to piss on this floor if you don't let me in now."
I definitely wouldn't have let you in if you said that.
Well,
like, I want to see.
Like, am I going to pee myself? Like, I literally was going to, like, what? I wasn't spreading COVID.
Would you? Wait. This is important. Would you have peed on the floor?
Yeah.
You would have done it.
I was wearing leggings and I could have gotten them down really easy. Just to make a point. I think I would have.
If only we had our wonderful videographer here. I won't say her name. She doesn't want to be associated with you people. Not us. She loves us. You people. We would have got a lot of viewers. Do you know what you should do? You should watch Suzanne pee. Every single week we just have a new one. You pee at a different angle. Look at me pee this week.
I think I get a lot of stage fright. Like, I'm not the kind of person who, like...
Stage fright. It's hard to pee when there's people watching you.
Well, also as a woman, you have to squat. Like, as a man, it's a lot easier.
But you'd be good at that. You're used to squatting. Years of practice. In Donegal, they start talking to you. Two lads started talking to me on both sides, and I couldn't pee. And I went outside, and my other friend was out there, and I said, "What are you doing out here?" And he goes, "They kept talking to me." Country people talk to you.
They're friendly people.
I know, but don't talk to a man in the toilet when he has his penis in his hands. It's uncomfortable enough, you know. It's awkward, like.
But you have years of conditioning on how to do that. Like, as a little boy, you're brought in there and you just grow up, and I thought men could do it really easily.
I don't like people talking to me when I'm going to the toilet. Likewise, you don't like having to squat inside Terminal 1 when there's a man looking at you. Look, we all have our whims about us, right?
I mean, it used, as I said in our last episode.
I'm glad they let you pee. That was good.
I mean, like, you used to go into Dublin Airport and you'd have the carol singers and everything like that. This year, I basically was told to fuck off.
I know.
I couldn't piss in there.
I mean,
they're like, piss off.
It's that type of Christmas. It is a bit of a fuck off Christmas. What did you do for... well, before we get to Christmas Day, did you have any bit of crack? Did you go out for Christmas Eve or the days leading up to Christmas?
Sorry, I didn't cough in your face.
Go on, am I mad?
No.
I want the new strain. Give me the new strain, baby. Oh, yeah.
Don't have it. Do you want to go over to England and I'll give it to you?
Yeah.
The strain, the COVID. I'll make you go around COVID wards and catch it.
There's probably no one in there.
So I came back to Ireland. I mean...
Thank God we missed you.
I mean, I was quite sad before we started filming because I came back being quite happy because I thought I was going to come home, I was going to get my hair cut, I was going to get my colour done, and I got back the 22nd. I was driving the car, and that Micheál No Crack Martin came on the radio and basically said that he was just going to shut everything down from the 24th.
I think that's his move. That's all he's got. I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to close everything.
He's such a
There's going to be a lockdown. That's everything. You can't do anything.
I don't like him though. Like I used to write letters to him when I was like 13 or 14 about like animal testing. I hated him when he brought in the smoking ban because I used to smoke. Smoking's really bad for you, so don't smoke. But I just didn't like that infringement on liberties.
That's what my friend, where I was staying with in Wicklow, my friend's father, he said, first they stopped you smoking in the bars. Now you can't even get a drink.
But that's okay. It's all for the greater good.
He's not a well man. Like he's not. I mean, he is, but he struggles. He's a sore shoulder. He's a big man. And I asked him about, are you afraid? Because he's in his 70s. And he goes, no, just afraid of losing the fun of the last few years of my life. I couldn't travel this year. Can't see my friends. Anyway, he's just not worried about COVID. If it's gonna get you, it's gonna get you.
Yeah. So I was despondent about my hair and not being able to get my hair done. Like, I know, look at it. It's so long. If there's any hairdressers out there that love to cut my hair. Like, I mean, look, I used to be a hair model, and now look what I'm reduced to.
Get that in there, huh?
I know.
I used to be a hair model. I used to be a model. Did I mention I was a model? I want to see a catwalk.
So anyhow, I did. I went out one of the nights before everything closed. I went to
on a date.
Oh, I went out.
Who'd you go out with?
No, I'm not telling you I went out.
Was it a male?
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays it could be anything.
It was multiple. I was out with multiple males. Not like that. Anyway, went out, had fun. Went into this bar slash restaurant, and the owner started screaming at me to put on a mask. And I was like, I'm exempt. And he was like, put it on. And I was like, I didn't have one, so one of my friends had to give me one.
A used one?
Yeah, a used mask.
Communal mask.
I think it was clean. It smelled clean.
I know someone found one on the ground when he was making it. Found one on the ground, put it on to go to a bar.
Oh, that's just so gross. Anyway, so I put on this communal mask.
Yeah.
And
who's got a communal mask?
I'm what? You're meant to have this €9 meal. I didn't really see anyone having a €9 meal. Anyway, I'm sure people were. Maybe they'd finished. But anyway, you had to put on this mask to walk in this tiny bar to go to the loo. But like, the loo had like 3 toilets in it. So if loads of people went at the same time, there was no fucking distancing in the loo either.
Why would more than 2 people go into a toilet at the same time? Oh, because of COVID. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're in like a pair. They're in a bubble. So they went in there. And if you heard sniffing or anything like that, that was probably them not wanting to breathe out.
Yeah, I think people might have just been doing COVID cocaine in the toilets or something, you know.
Could have been, Christmas COVID coke.
I don't know. But people were. It just didn't make sense to me. Anyway, they're going into the loo, and like you made me lose my train of thought.
I knew it.
Anyway, there was overcrowding in the toilet, and by the end of the night, people weren't fucking wearing that mask.
And of course they weren't. They were drinking and having fun. Who's gonna take the rules seriously after a few pints? Here, would you put on your mask? Would you? Fuck off.
But also, I think people would probably be more compliant in this if they knew that like the whole fucking thing wasn't going to shut down in a few days' time anyway. It's like the last hurrah.
The last hurrah wasn't much of a hurrah anyway. Look, you know.
I had fun that night, but then that's when the fun ended and I became despondent.
It's the end of the fun as we know it. It's the end.
I wish I hadn't started that song because it'd be stuck in my head for ages.
It's good. I could have stuck other things inside your head. Anyway,
not a COVID test.
Moving on. So you didn't ask, but I'll tell you anyway. I did very little.
Okay.
Before Christmas. I mean, I went to Wicklow,
Mm-hmm.
County Wicklow, the Garden of Ireland. It's a beautiful place, and I was in the middle of nowhere, past Lara. Keep on going straight towards Hollywood and Vallymount, and up there, in between a few forests and some dodgy plantation forests where they just killed soil.
With what?
Oh, you know those crappy pine trees that they put up so they can sell and make money, sell to China or some big corporation. Yeah, ruining real Irish forests. It's very sad. Mm-hmm. We can do an episode about it.
Okay.
The death of Irish forests. And when I was there, I was meditating. By the way, I was meditating because I wasn't encouraged to see my family once I'd landed because they felt safer if I quarantined for some time, and that's fair enough. I understand people's fears, so I wanted to meet them where they're at and spend some time on my own. And my friends, I've got a couple there with a polytunnel, and they just live there. They have a bicycle.
Are they single?
Well, they're single as in there's a couple. There's a man and a woman who are a single couple. They're actually They're polyamorous now that you mention it. But I mean, no one goes.
I'm too conservative a person for that kind of thing.
Are you now? Do you know what polyamorous even means?
Yeah, I do. I know what polygamy is.
It's
Like I've known people in
It's where you grow your own food inside a tunnel. while there's 3 or 4 naked people. Anyway,
no, I get too jealous of that. I'm a one man.
One man.
I just like a
one
man woman.
Don't be so 1980s.
That's what I like. I get jealous.
I get jealous too, but not that bad. I can handle the jealousy and the pain of someone, the fear of losing what we love, and that's really what it is. That's what jealousy is: the fear of losing what we love, and that's the same people suffering from COVID, Stockholm syndrome. They're afraid, so they're acting in a certain way. They're afraid of losing their own life or someone else's life. It's this constant fear, and if we act from a place of fear, it's not great. So if you're in a relationship and he or she is with someone else, as long as you're open and truthful and honest, you can meet those fears together. But if you choose not to, you don't have to. I'm not saying that we should have an orgy, but I think that you're the type of woman who would be really good at orgies.
I don't think I'd be that.
That's where I'm going with this. That's where I'm going.
I'm like a conservative Irish woman. I'm not like the kind of person who likes an orgy. Like I'm just not into that. I'm not.
Okay, moving on. Fine,
okay, you can
fine.
cut that.
There'll be no cutting. There'll be no cuts.
No. I'm just gonna say now. I'm a one man woman.
She's looking for a man.
Yeah.
And she wants to get her hair done. So if there's any male hairdressers, straight, who are not into polyamory, whatever.
I like the poly tunnels though. I like that idea.
You're allowed to have a poly tunnel, but you can't have another woman. Okay. All right.
Poly tunnels, no polygamy.
All right, Bob. You heard me.
Who's Bob?
That's the dude you're going to end up making love to.
Okay.
For the rest of your sad, maskless life.
As I slowly turn into Rapunzel. Anyhow.
What did you do Christmas Eve? Did you do anything fun at all?
No, I went to my sister's. No, do you know what? It was really nice. My Christmas Eve, my Christmas Day, and Stephen's Day were all very normal. Once I did that test, everybody shut the fuck up about COVID, and it wasn't mentioned for 3 days. So it was great. Lovely break.
So you jumped through the COVID hoops.
Yeah.
You got some Dettol.
Yeah.
Hand sanitizer. You wiped it all over your body. Got the test.
No, Aidan, stop talking about the things you like to wank over, okay? This isn't the place.
Okay, right. So you jumped through the COVID hoops. I didn't refuse to get the test. I just wasn't into it. And they weren't that comfortable with me being around Christmas. But they were super lovely about it. And they invited me anyway. And I was just, you know what, I'll just avoid it. And I'll go to Wicklow. But then the day before the Christmas Eve, the rules, the regulations, the family guidance started changing. I got invited for breakfast. As long as I stood outside. Or actually, originally I had to stay in my car.
Should be warmer in your car.
I know, but then they decided I could come into the house and go out through the kitchen, out through the side passage, and go out, which is ridiculous. Because if I had the old COVID, I would have put it all over the kitchen on the way and the side
5
passage.
or 10 minutes.
Anyway, I just followed what they're doing. I just followed it.
Did you wear a mask?
I did. Don't be ridiculous. I didn't want to fight with anyone. It's Christmas Day. It's the time of Christ. It's a time of forgiveness. It's a time of compassion and joy and all things beautiful. So I just wanted to get in there and avoid any conflict. So I went into, I'm out in the kitchen, great. Side passage, out, chatted to everyone, kept the social distance. One person, my sister, she wouldn't mind. She wears a mask. I love my sister. She's the other extreme. She wears a mask all the time because she thinks it saves lives. And we just try and avoid the subject because it ends in death. It ends in death. And nobody...
Death of the conversation or death of what?
Well, one of us is going to be shouted at. You know, you trigger brothers and sisters. They have that way of annoying each other, and we just haven't had. It's very sad. We haven't been able to meet as heart to heart as two human beings and be able to discuss it like grown-ups. Like I will never raise my voice at my sister, or haven't since I was a teenager probably. But we can't meet, so we just end up just not dealing with it. And I'm okay. I don't care that she wears it, but I won't participate in what I think is fraud, and it's dangerous. So how do we have a relationship? Like I was going to go to the grave. We go to Granddad's grave. My grandmother's too old to go. I used to take her all the time. So me and my sister wanted to go, but she wanted a lift with me, and she wouldn't get in the car unless I wore a mask. And I said, I'll open the windows. And what are you afraid of? And we broke it down into the spitballs. She's afraid of spitballs for when I speak. So I said, okay, well, I won't speak. Problem solved. right? We don't have to speak. It's perfect. We just sit there in silence, or I can breathe out the window. I didn't mind open the windows, but it wasn't enough.
What was it like? You're swimming and you're driving a car and you kind of go up for air every now and then.
I mean, if only I had a convertible. I mean, it's Christmas Day, but she didn't go in the end. But I went to the grave on my own, and I said some prayers to Grandad and Uncle Sean and Auntie Peg for humanity. For humanity. And they all said to me, don't worry, Aidan, in 2021, they're all going to stop this mask nonsense, and the world's going to be a better place.
So talking about nonsense, did you have to do
Christmas Day? So then I went back to Wicklow after that. But last minute, 2 hours before Christmas dinner, my dad actually invited me then for Christmas dinner.
Oh, that was
And
nice.
we just had to sit on the other side, and there was no mask. We had a lovely conversation. It was a lovely dinner. And then I drove back to Wicklow. I was meant to be there the whole day, but instead I was driving. Went back to Wicklow, stayed there, and I ended up having a lovely pint of Guinness at the end of the night. And I watched a movie with my friends.
Did you kill your family?
There was
Are they still alive? I mean,
Nobody died.
Nobody died. Oh yeah, of COVID.
Of COVID. Don't be
No,
ridiculous.
they were all worried. You know, did you give them COVID?
Not yet. No, but they're counting the days.
The counting of days. So speaking of like nonsense stuff you had to do over Christmas, did you do? Like, you're not even paying attention to me.
I'm paying attention.
And did you do any annoying fucking Zooms?
Yeah, I did. My friend who I love's birthday, I've been going since he was 15. That's about probably 10 years now. 25 years of his birthdays. It was Connor's birthday, and his dad was having an operation, and he was worried about having a party, so we had it on Zoom, and there's a bunch of people from school there. It's nice to see them, but it's Zoom. It kind of makes you like really unhappy. Like you're just there going, you can't really hang out with them. You know, it's it was awful. And then there was one guy who started getting angry with me about like the masks and all. And I remember him, John from school, and I'm friends with him, but he was so angry. I was like, John, you're more angry now than that time you sat on the bee. He sat on a bumblebee. Oh, my ass! I was like, maybe it was reverse karma. It's your attitude now that's went back in time, and that's why the bee stung you.
I hate that. Like, I got an anger on a Zoom with a group of people where this woman just started like ranting about.
Who was she? A friend? School friend?
It was a Zoom that I was doing with some actors, and like she was in Germany. Like, I wasn't coughing around Germany spreading COVID, and she just started going, rah, like really like, I can't wear it, and I was like, as if it was my fault that I brought in COVID and I brought in all these regulations, and she was pissed off at the fact that I didn't agree with it. Like, I was like, it's such this misdirection of anger that people get angry at us for speaking against this. Get angry at the fuckers who are shutting down your businesses, not us. We're not doing that.
Well, hold on, Suzanne. Maybe she wasn't angry because of the regulations. Maybe she was angry because of the fear of something else. Maybe she was afraid of the dying.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, she was afraid of like not making money and afraid that like, and she'd known people who would have COVID. But yeah, maybe it is her fear of dying. But that's not my fault. Like, I don't know. Are you afraid of dying?
There's moments when I would be, but in general, no. It's not that I have no fear whatsoever. I'd be afraid of the pain and the suffering. But I suppose I've faced that fear before, on some level, and I know I can face it. What about you? What are you afraid of?
I don't really know. Stop coming
Sorry,
here.
I thought we were having a moment. I thought we were having a moment.
I don't think I'm afraid of dying. No.
You're afraid of dying? Cool.
No, I'm not afraid of dying. Death is part of life. I'm not like now saying that. Like if you came at me with a knife, I'm not sure. but
well, what you do?
Saying
you're told. Would you? Okay, that's awkward.
I know. Do you know what you should do? Don't get killed by the knife that Aidan's going to get at you. I suppose it depends on the situation. Yeah, but I'm not afraid of dying. Death is part of life. We need to accept that.
Right, but if someone else isn't, like maybe, I mean, I think most of us are afraid of something. Like, let's say death is one of them, or the loss, losing someone we love. And if she's afraid of that, I mean, so are we. The only difference is she's misdirecting her anger onto you, people like us. So the only difference is our fears. Some people are being cunts about it, and other people are, and that's
fucking cunts. I just wanted to say cunt.
It's a beautiful word. I love it. It's a beautiful word. Beautiful word. We should all have at least one at all times.
Your inner cunt.
That's what we could call this.
The cunt show.
The Merry Cuntmas.
Merry Cuntmas. Good idea.
Edit.
Cunt year.
Cut.
So, where were we going?
I got distracted.
Okay, no. So what I wanted to talk about was I've seen this new thing that I think is going to come in this year, the smiley face movement, where I've seen this being talked about on Twitter about people who might be afraid not to wear a mask but don't necessarily agree with it and are going to start wearing these smiley face badges.
All right, so you're wearing the mask, but you prefer not to be, but you feel you have to because you don't know a way around it yet.
Yeah.
And so you wear a smiley badge to let other people know that you're part of that which is rational.
Yeah, or else you've just taken a lot of B tablets and
and you're stuck in 1996.
So yeah, I think you're going to embrace the smiley badge
with your
thing.
Eclipse jeans.
And my X-Works.
Embrace the smiley badge. I like that. That
yeah.
sounds positive for 2021.
Yeah.
Are you flying home?
Well, yeah.
Flying back to London.
If I can get back into the UK.
This is a rule for us. We need a test going to Amsterdam. Do you need a test too?
No.
Why wouldn't you be allowed in? Instead of lockdown?
Well, it's still in lockdown in London. Because they wouldn't let flights go from the UK to Ireland. So I'm presuming they'll have ones going back. I haven't really looked into it yet, but like I don't know how much longer I can stick it here. They're all fucking mad here. Like I think I live maybe in an echo chamber in London a bit, but like they fucking love the masks and the rules here.
I've never seen any other country. I've been in Italy, Sweden, Amsterdam. You're in England. What was the other one I was in? Anyway, a bunch of countries since Greece. Thank you. So, and there's no. I mean, they have masks, but over here, people are voluntarily wearing them outdoors. Outdoors, they're walking around with bacteria collectors, COVID
damp
on their
bacteria
face.
collectors.
It's really sad for me. These are people I love. These are the,
Like this time last year, if I walked into your house with a damp scarf wrapped around my face, you'd literally be like, "Take that wet thing off your face." Like it's just
get out, would you? Wouldn't let you in.
Have you gotten shit in shops here?
A little bit. Centra, I shouldn't mention it because there were thousands, hundreds of thousands of hits and all that.
Centra, close to you.
But you know what? I haven't worn a mask since I got here. Once I did because my sister wanted me to play with the kid the day I landed, and she kind of put it on my face, and I was a bit shocked, and I didn't want to argue with my sister because I love her, and I wanted to play with the kid, so I put it on. But also, I wasn't sure if she was winding me up. Yeah. I didn't know what the thing was.
She just wanted kind of to trap
you. But apart from that, in any shop or anything, they're all really polite. I just said straight out, listen, I'm exempt if they ask. And nearly most of the time they didn't ask. In fact, sometimes what they do is when they're talking to me, they take their mask down to talk to me properly as human to human. But I learned, don't focus on the mask, focus on the eyes, and you can really connect with them. And you can see the smile in the eyes. I really got a good buzz. I started to learn it. And only once. I was in the centre 4 times I was asked. 4 times. First guy comes over, asked me, and I said I'm exempt. And he asked me again, have I got a letter? Yeah, I've got 24 of them. Which one do you want? I mean, I've got loads of letters. I mean, I don't have... No, I was calm. I wasn't rude. I said, listen, of course I have a letter. But you're asking me my personal information about my health in a public place. And I'm sure you're aware that you've got no legal or no right whatsoever to do that. So, I think you should think very carefully before you do that again to anyone. And actually, he took it quite well. Like, he was okay. He didn't react. He didn't get angry or anything. And I said, listen, I don't want to make you or anyone afraid. So if you want to go and get, I need 4 cans of Guinness. If you want to get them and bring them outside, I'll happily pay you cash outside. And he goes, no, it's fine. And I got in the queue, and there was a woman who was 65-ish, and she had no mask on. And he goes, excuse me, where's your mask? And she got really panicky. She got really scared, and she fumbled, and she pressed her fingers, but oh, sorry, I forgot. And she could tell now she had a bit of anxiety, we'll say. And she turned to me, and she's like, I just hate putting it on. I find it so hard to breathe. And I was like, you're exempt. And she was like, yeah, but I just don't want the confrontation. And it's really unfair to ask people. We know you have to wear a mask. There's a sign up. You're calling it out on the intercom every 10 seconds. There's a million ads on. Everybody knows you have to. If I'm not wearing a mask, I've done it for choice, and it's not your place to police me. Call the police if you think I'm doing something wrong.
So for you going back to Amsterdam, you do a test to go back?
I have to do a test to get on the plane, which means I don't need to wear a mask on the plane.
No, you still need to wear a mask.
No, I don't, because I'm exempt.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And if I show them my test results, I don't.
So if everybody's getting on that plane, they've all tested negative for COVID.
Yeah, or they're not allowed on.
Okay, so then nobody's wearing a mask on the plane.
They all will be. I'll
But
probably
then
be the only
why
one.
are they wearing the masks if they've all tested negative?
Well, maybe the tests aren't reliable.
Or maybe it's all just bullshit routes and hoops and shit that you've got to jump through. Anyway, so they're gonna get in the plane anyway and eat something.
Yeah, but you can't catch COVID when you're eating, you dummy.
Especially if you go down on a sandwich.
Yeah, see you next week.
So okay, let's say so
What do
we're at the end of our
you
year.
want? What do you want? Come on,
Okay,
let's wrap
okay,
this up.
2021.
21 and 2021.
What do you want in 2021?
You. All I want for 20. Oh my God, she touched me. I'm never gonna watch that knee again.
Okay, that's just gross. What do you want for 2021? That
I
doesn't
want-
include me.
I envision for 2021 a better world. I think that this year was a year of control and fear, and I think I don't know much about astrology or this age of Aquarius or the solstice, but my gut feeling, my general spirit tells me that is now past and we're moving into a better world. I'm picturing a more conscious world where people are more reasonable, more rational, are making decisions for themselves, thinking outside the media, outside the box, in here, and I'm picturing a better world. So I'm very hopeful for 2021.
Yeah, I mean, I had loads of hopes and dreams for 2020 for like love, life, my career. Stop touching me.
Love.
Sorry. Yeah, but like it all fucking blew up in my face. I mean, I did laugh a bit. So yeah, I've no hopes and dreams for 2021. Well,
come on, you got one. What is it? Come on, you got something. Come on.
No, because I don't want to.
Positive.
I don't want to be like.
Give them something.
I can't. I don't want anything more sad. Okay. My hopes. I hope in 2021 I can get my hair cut and coloured regularly.
Wow. Well, that's good because that means everything would be open and back to business and people would stop killing themselves. So great. Thank you. And next week we'll be back with an episode on how Suzanne found one of the viewers who reached out and said, "I will do your hair." Legally or illegally, I will be there for you. If you want love or your hair cut, I'm yours, Suzanne.
I'll be your cut or cunt.